You must stop what you are doing here. I am starting to die. They are inserting food by tube.
Now this man is a hostage. They're gonna starve them to death, and then they're gonna make them make propaganda videos.
You can't expect Hamas, which is a death cult, to simply surrender, and you cannot make the innocent Palestinians. Can I finish my sentence, Congressman?
They've used the hostages.
Hamas is not gonna give up. Okay, so you think Israel should just give up? After they've been in a war for 2 years, all the resources they use, all the progress they made, they should just withdraw and give up. Do you find it interesting that every single explosion, there is an amateur camera that's set up on a tripod or set up on the ground that's facing the exact place where a bomb is dropped? Either he's the luckiest cameraman on planet Earth, where he just have some epiphany that I need to set it right here and here. This video is brought to you by SHINERGY Life, brought to you by SHINERGY Life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're sick of being soft, if you're sick of your T levels being low, if you're tired of being a Democrat, won't you get you some T-Force and become a man today, all right? We had the original T-Force, which is the regular T-Force, and then we made it advanced. I suggest you take this with food and you take it before a workout to maximize. Get you some T-Force today, 25% off, because I hate these white bottles and I want to get them out of here, to be honest. We give you a discount code for 25% off. Get you some T-Force today. God bless you, God bless America, and let's get strong, baby. I have been on a rampage talking about the Israel-Gaza thing. And the reason that I have been, because I've been sitting back for so long trying not to get into this and trying not to look like I'm Officer Tatumstein. What did somebody call me? Talmud Tatumstein. I'm trying not to look like I'm just overly doing too much, because I see people doing too much sometimes. So I'm like, I say something here and there, but like after watching so much anti-Israeli propaganda, after watching so much Jew hate and anti-Semitism, I'm so sick of it that like, I'm just not gonna hold back no more. Y'all watch me on Instagram. Every time I see fake stuff, I'm posting it. Because I'm tired of it, man. It's a group of people is getting such a bad rap for doing the right thing. And I'm not saying they're perfect on everything they do, Israel. But what do you want them to do? What do you expect them to do? America cannot judge. We literally went to war for like 21 years over much less than what happened in Israel in comparison, population comparison. We literally dropped bombs, atomic bombs on people and killing massive amounts of people and radiation out. Well, for much less. So I'm just wondering, what do you think they should be doing? Every criticism against Israel is not anti-Semitism. Every criticism against Benjamin Netanyahu and Jews are not anti-Semitism. But what's anti-Semitic is when you hold a double standard. When you wouldn't criticize another nation for doing this, but you criticize Israel for doing this, that's when it gets weird. You have to ask yourself the question, well, why do I accept it from them but not them? Why do I think it's okay to defend yourself in this area, but it's not defending, they can't defend themselves? October 7th was crazy, bruh. They killed all those innocent people. They still got people hostage. I'm gonna show you a few of that right now. I'm just setting it up. They still got hostages. Like, what are we even talking about right now? How do you compare a democracy to a terrorist organization and act like there's an equivalence? Well, they did this. Well, they did this. Well, they did this. Well, you believe everything that Hamas is saying, but you don't believe nothing Israel is saying. That leads down the point of saying, are you anti-Semitic? Why does when Israel say something, they lying, but when Hamas gives a statement, or the UN and some of these other places that give a statement that we never trusted. We didn't trust them during COVID. They lied to us. They did all this. We didn't trust them, and we don't trust them when they do things negative against Trump and all that. But then when it comes to Israel, somehow they're 100% truthful about everything they're doing and saying. Wait a minute. Because some people are going to get mad at me. I'm going to show you proof. Let's start with let's start with the Israeli hostage, Ram. And I'm going to tell you that I'll take the double standard test. If you wouldn't expect other countries or treat other countries like this, why do Israel like this? Now, this man is a hostage. People cry incessantly about starvation in Israel with the Israel kids and all this stuff, but they starving him. And It's okay to starve him though? And they can let him go. He ain't got nothing to do with this. But they're not going to let him go. They're not going to let the hostages go. They're going to starve them to death, and then they're going to make them make propaganda videos. This is them making a starving Israeli who they took hostage that they should have never had, make a video telling Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel to stop starving people. They starve a hostage to tell Israel to stop letting their people starve. Roll the clip.
My name is Ron Braslavsky. I am 22 years old, from Jerusalem, living in Mitzvah Gan al-Israel. And I have been in the hands of Saraya al-Quds, Islamic Jihad, for more than a year and 9 months. I have been here in Gaza for 2 years already. 2 years that I am suffering due to this great involvement that you have brought upon us. I can no longer eat or drink. If before, I occasionally had a little bit, today there's nothing left. I'm tied up until the night. I am suffering a suffering that is not seen as good, a foot over my head. My hands and feet are sometimes tied. I can't look. I can't stand. I can't go to the bathroom. I can't sit. I can't live. I live so that you will get me out of here. You must stop what you are doing here. The soldiers of the Saraya let me watch television and let me see children dying of hunger. Dying of hunger, nothing but bones. With my own eyes I see their children, bones. It is not logical, and it is abuse of innocent people. You are not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do this. I am starting to die. They are inserting food by tube. I am dying. In my last video I said that my next disease in my body would be total paralysis. And I was so close to dying.
No man, I don't care who you are, when you see somebody in that condition, if in fact that's what's really going on, and it looks like it to me, it's very sad. But think about this for a minute. This man shouldn't even be there in the first place. How do you use propaganda against a hostage you took to then tell Israel to stop doing what you say they're doing? But that's like, I had this scenario in my mind, and I'm going to play some evidence in a minute. Hold on, I just need to get this out of my system. I had a scenario in my mind that I wanted to say, and I said it to myself last night. I said, just imagine, and this is not the same scale, but I want you to imagine the logic. This is how it presented in my mind. That me and 5 other guys decide to go and storm a police station. And we took the lives of a few, 50, 60 cops, and we took like 20 of them hostage and took them back to my house. And now we're in my house, but my kids are at my house. And also the other 5 guys, their kids are at the house and their wives. We all at the house. And the cops come to get the cops that we got hostage back. So they throw in tear gas. And my kids are coughing. And I'm coughing. And one of my kids gets sick and died because of the tear gas they put in to try to get their police officers back. And then they're trying to go through windows and do all that they can to extract it. They know that I got a stockpile of guns in this room, and they're trying to find ways to stop me from getting the guns to continue what I'm doing, to hurt the hostages, to hurt people that's in the house, to inflict trauma on the police department in a continuation. Then one of my kids ended up dying because they tried to bulldoze this side of the house and ended up killing one of my kids. Now, think about this for a minute. And now they cut the power out to my house because they're trying to compel me to give up the fight and give the police officers back that I now have hostage and give myself up. Let my children go free because they have nothing to do with it. Let the police officers that I took hostage go because they have nothing to do with it, and give myself over to the authorities. And then they have to give me food now because I've isolated myself. They have to give me food and they're not giving me enough. But I could give my kids to them, let them go, free the police, turn myself over, and now my kids don't have to starve because I did this and I started this. Who do you blame in this situation for the problem that happened with the kids and women and children in that house? You blame the cops. So what you want the cops to do is do nothing and let them keep the hostages and let them continue to do what they're doing, and they're going to attack the police department again. So no, you do nothing, let them keep the hostages. You just lost those cops. That's it. You can't do nothing about it. You can't hold them accountable. You can't arrest them. You're supposed to walk away from them and arrest, even though they kill people, innocent people for no reason. You walk away from the arrest. You want them to walk away because there's kids in the house and they may get hurt. Now just say the police department walks away. He's not going to give the hostages back. He's not going to somehow release his kids. He's not going to do right. He's going to continue to build up an arsenal to attack the police department again. And now it's going to be more hostages. It's the same thing I think about Israel. Like, what are we saying? They did all this. They got the hostages. Israel should go and get the hostages back. Yeah, innocent people may die in this situation, which is horrible. Pray for their soul. Pray that God keep them peace. Pray that God evade many of the casualties. But you can't tell me they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And if you have an alternative, let somebody know. Let's go to the CNN discussion of the starvation.
Completely, as a strong supporter of Israel, I completely back Israel's right to defend itself. But Israel's own generals concluded about a year ago that the war had reached the point of diminishing return. And right now, you can't expect Hamas, which is a death cult, to simply surrender. And you cannot make the innocent Palestinians. Can I finish my sentence, Congressman?
They've used the hostages.
Can I finish my sentence, Congressman?
Congressman,
you've had your say. Let me say something, okay? You could not expect Hamas to surrender because they're an evil organization. And you're right, they are holding the people of Gaza hostage. But Israel, as a liberal democratic country, has an obligation to abide by the laws of war and to avoid inflicting undue harm on civilians. Israel is recognizing that to some extent because in the last week they've actually opened up and allowed more aid in. But clearly, given the fact that we can all agree there are starvation conditions in Gaza, the aid has been inadequate.
Hold on. Whose fault is it? This guy said it is a diminishing return. And at what Hamas is not going to give up. Okay, so you think Israel should just give up? After they've been in a war for 2 years, all the resources they use, all the progress they made, they should just withdraw and give up. Why did they take the hostages in the first place? Why? They they knew they weren't going to beat Israel, because if they ever got the best of Israel, America would step in. Right? And nobody's going to beat America's military. So they knew they weren't going to win there. So why did they do what they did? They did. Put it together. Why did they take hostages? They didn't have to take hostages. They could have did what they did and fled in their country. Why did they take hostages? For leverage. To leverage a ceasefire. So then they can leverage a ceasefire. They can build a stockpile again. They can do all this stuff over, get themselves together, continue to live in Gaza in perpetuity till they can do the next attack. And the next attack is going to be far worse. Okay. And let me make this very clear. Is there people starving in Gaza? Probably. Is it a famine? No. I think the conditions are probably getting bad enough that where some people are going without food. Because Hamas is doing their part in eliminating people from getting the food too. So don't act like it's just Israel. And I don't think Israel is intentionally doing it. And if they are intentionally doing it, let me just say this, two things. I don't think that Israel is intentionally doing where they're not providing enough aid. But I can also see how Israel could put pressure on Hamas by not providing enough aid. And both of those scenarios are fine. And you don't want people to die, but at what point are they going to stop? At what point are you going to have enough leverage to make them say, okay, our people are suffering. We need to give up so our people can be free. Because what terrorists do, they go and do all this ungodly stuff and unorthodox stuff, hide behind their people, kill their own people, kill innocent people. They get to do it all without being held accountable. But then when another country come in to defend themselves and there's other unorthodox things they have to do to make it happen, now they the problem. Therefore, if Israel have to be held accountable for every rule of engagement and somehow no innocent people can die in this situation, which has never happened in any war on planet Earth, then all terrorists will do is go commit atrocities against sovereign nations and hide behind their citizens. And the sovereign nation will have to say, we just lost 1,200 people and we just lost 2,000 hostages. Give them whatever they want. That's what they have to do. because the terrorists can always create a situation where there's going to be a humanitarian issue. Let's talk about these propaganda videos. I shared a propaganda video from that I saw online. I was like, this is propaganda. And every video that I had from that point was all propaganda. There was not one real Gazan video that came through my newsfeed in 15 minutes of scrolling. Not one. And I said, it's enough. I'm watching people be outraged and getting 100 million likes and I mean like 100 million views on some of these videos. And I'm like, they're really pushing this as this is real. And this is complete propaganda. Some of it's out of order, y'all. So just be tuned because I didn't tell them which order to put it in. This guy is talking about the famine. And then we're going to start getting to these airstrikes that somehow conveniently they got on camera just at the right angle at the right time to capture every single explosion of every building. But somehow the people don't know it's happening. But the cameraman do. All right, roll the clip.
I'm Richard Kemp here at one of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation's distribution centres inside Gaza. You will have heard a lot of propaganda about violent attacks in and around the GHF sites here. It's all lies generated by Hamas in order to discredit the GHF. The Hamas hate the GHF because the GHF delivers aid directly into the hands of the Gazan people without being seized by Hamas and sold at a profit. Very many of the people behind me here have told me it's the first time they've ever received free aid. So don't believe the propaganda that's been churned out by Hamas and amplified by too much of the international and national media.
Now, I want you to put your thinking cap on and put this into context. Why would this lady, who's clothed with a healthy clothed baby, be sitting in this room? There's clearly, it's not livable. But she's not dirty, and the kid is not dirty. They clearly are not in the room when it turned into a disaster like this. So these two people who are clean, clothed, healthy people are sitting on the floor in a room. And a cameraman is sitting with them, recording her on the floor in this room. Do you think this is real? Do you think this is a real living condition of this lady and this baby? And then I want you to pay attention to the shaking of the camera and the sound of artillery. And you tell me, do you think that's real? Roll the clip. It's shaking and there ain't no bomb going off. Pause it. You telling me she living like that? There's nothing in this place. It's all burnt out. This is a building that clearly got hit and is burnt out. There's no carpet. There's no nothing in here. And you telling me this woman happened to be sitting on the floor with a baby in her hand, healthy, clothed, and the guys just happen to be filming her. They don't even have to be, there's nothing there. So they don't even have to be in that building. Roll the clip. No windows, no nothing, like, okay. Roof vent stuff, okay. Now pause it. Think about this for a minute. Look at the kid with dust on his face, dust on his clothes and his pants, and look at every man that's walking behind him. Why is he the only person that got dust on him? And you could tell it's like this, like somebody took his hand and did him like this. Now, if there's starvation, then let's address it. But why make fake propaganda videos? Look at all the other men. They're not dusty like him. Why is he dusty in front of a camera talking, but everybody else is not dusty? Play the clip. Why they put the kid to make this video? We know why. I just want y'all to pay attention to this while you're watching these videos. Are the explosions real? Yeah, I think they are. But just when you watch it, do you find it interesting that every single explosion, there is an amateur camera that's set up on a tripod or set up on the ground that's facing the exact place where a bomb is dropped? are you telling me that the cameraman right here, I can see that building right here. Let me set it down like that. But the people don't know it's about to happen. But the cameraman do, but the people don't. Either he's the luckiest cameraman on planet Earth where he just have some epiphany that I need to set it right here and here. And then I'm going to set it enough time that the bomb is going to go off in enough time for me to catch it on the film. I think it's right here. I think it's 20 seconds until the bomb go off. And it's just blow up. Watch the video. Camera set up right at the exact building. Now look at this video. Pause it. I want you to pay attention to this video, and you see these kids with dust all over them. I'm trying to help us see this. Why are these 3-4 kids crying and sitting on this bench with no parents around them? But yet there's a cameraman on them. And then if you look at the kid on the far end, not the kid in the pink that's crying, but the kid on the far end that's going to come in camera, the kid is seen unconcerned and looking around and just like, what are we doing here? While the other kids are crying and rubbing themselves with no blood, no apparent injuries or anything. Roll the clip. She yawning and looking around. And look at this. So pause it. I wish I can just try to pause it right at the beginning of the clip. Pause the clip right at the beginning. Watch this kid, and I swear, but I don't have the time to do it. I swear I've seen this kid in 3 different videos. Watch this kid look into the camera and scream, and then watch this. Tell me this is real. Roll it. Now look at this. Pause it. Now this iteration of videos, because I think I remember, just pay attention to the fact that this camera is sitting on the ground. This is not on a tripod. This is not a CCTV camera. This is look like a camera that's just seated against something on the ground, facing this direction precisely. Somebody set this camera up. And all these people are walking around living their life, right? The cameraman could have set up this way, this way, this way, this way. He set up right down the thing to catch this building right here. Roll it. How does he know and they don't know? Maybe I'm tripping. Look at it. That building. Out the window at that building. It's at a marketplace that's elevated enough to right at this angle at that building. How do they know that building is going to get hit? Play it. Set up on a rock. Pause. Pay attention to the time lapse. They're saying all this. This camera is facing out somebody's window directly at the building that's about to be hit. They go get this kid, and there's a time lapse between when they rescue this kid and when the bomb hit. Watch it. gonna play the devil's advocate in a minute against my own argument in a minute. Just hold on.
Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Ya Allah! طب ماشي خلينا.
All right, I think we've seen enough. And this is what bothers me about this. Now, a person can say, and playing devil's advocate, that they know what building, they don't have enough time to get away from it. I don't know. How do you know, out of all the buildings there, that they set the camera up on a rock and perfect angle? How do you know that in enough of a distance that the camera don't get damaged? And they can retain the footage. Because if it's too close and it gets destroyed, you don't have any footage because the camera got destroyed. But it's just enough away at the right angle that it's pointing at the exact building. My theory is that what they're doing is that they're getting notification from the IDF, notifications like Israel normally does, and say, evacuate this area. We're going to strike this place right here. Therefore, the people evacuate, most of them. And I think they evacuate at a certain distance where they believe that the missile won't hit them, and in some cases, they stage people there and wait for the strike to hit, and then everybody's running and scrambling like they have no idea what's going on. Or they know, but they don't tell the people, and they set the camera up hoping they can catch the people get hit by something, but just enough away that the camera's not damaged, but enough they can capture the footage. I don't trust Hamas. I don't trust these people enough to believe everything I see from them. I don't think it's outside of the realm of reality that Hamas could force people not to be able to leave. I can see them doing them like that. They force it. No, you can't leave. You can't leave at gunpoint. You can't leave. You can't leave. Telling young men, you're martyrs. This will end the war. Just, you can't leave. When you die in this thing, it's going to be over. They're going to see the catastrophe of this. I don't say they're doing it. I can see them doing it. They don't care about their people. They leave them out to dry. They got tunnels up under the thing. They hiding. They know they got weapons in this building right here. I can see them making kids and stuff at least stay in the building. Forcing women to stay in the building. You can have a couple Hamas soldiers in there holding them hostage in the building because they don't care about blowing themselves up. This is what they do. I can see them doing that to people. And then when the Israelis strike the building, after telling them to evacuate, you see bodies in the building. They just killing innocent people. You like, are they? I can see people questioning Israel, are they? But also, do you question the other side? If you're going to question Israel and you say, I think they're killing indiscriminately, okay, that's a fair argument. Let's look into it. But then you also got to say, could the terrorist organization who willing to behead people and kill people for no reason and deprive their citizens of aid and money and structure and food, you name it, they build tunnels. They put these people in this situation. Many of these people that have nothing to do with October 7th, Hamas put them in this situation. And since they don't care that much, why do you think they care about getting people out of buildings after they've been warned? Why do you think they won't kill their own people and stage some of this stuff to make Israel look bad? You don't have to like Israel. You don't have to agree with what Israel is doing. But if you're going to disagree, hold them to the same standard that you will hold Hamas. If you think that IDF is putting out fake propaganda, then be skeptical of also the propaganda on the other side. If you somehow think that Israel shouldn't be doing what they're doing, also consider that Hamas shouldn't have been doing what they did. And if you think the war should be over and Israel should quit, you should also think that they should give the hostages back and lay down their arms. This is the type of thing that I want to get. I don't expect you to agree with me. I don't expect you to believe in Israel. I don't expect you to like Israel. You don't have to. Everybody that's on the sound of my voice have the freedom of thought and the freedom of your own opinion. But all I ask you to do is that have that same energy for both sides. If you somehow think that there's propaganda pushed on Israeli propaganda, consider it on the other side. If you think that videos that are put out from IDF is wrong, consider it on the other side. That's all I'm saying. I consider Israel could be wrong in this situation. But all the evidence that I see do not point to Israel being wrong. It points to Hamas being wrong. And there's not an equivalence between a terrorist organization and a democracy.